have. I just jumped on here to let you know that yes, a goat can go live. Whoa!
With Young Thug released from jail following the latest mess in the YSL Rico trial with him accepting a plea deal, he has now returned home with his family. However, DJ Akademiks does not believe it's going to be that easy, explaining that it's actually all a setup for Young Thug to go back to prison.
I know some of his fans think he beat the case. He definitely didn't beat the case. Beat the case means you got no stipulations. The Young Thug thing is a win, but it's also a huge setup. If you won't tell me that they're going to monitor him on a probationary basis for 15 years. Can't be in Atlanta. Can't communicate with co-defendants or gang members. He can't rap about, he can't promote any music that has to do with what they believe is gang activity. But he's always going to talk about him and he's doing his thing. They might consider that gang activity. He might be like, it's like, we going to the park getting lit. We going to the club getting lit. They might be like, oh, no, you're talking about the gang. So, we celebrating right now because I think we could all see if you follow that trial at all, whether you're a fan of Thug or not, you can see the pain, you can see this was going through it. Like, he gained a lot of weight. Everybody knows Thug was not that weight, so we happy he got out, but we definitely got to be very cognizant of how it's going to play out.
DJ Akademiks and others don't believe it's going to be that easy for Young Thug, as many think that Young Thug speaking inside a court was one of the only reasons that he was even released. As Young Thug would describe to the judge and jury the type of man that he truly is, and that he's truly sorry for everything that he's ever done.
Anything that you want to say?
Yes, ma'am. I take full responsibility for, my crimes or my charges. I want to say sorry to my family, my mom. My mom got 11 kids. I can't say all their names, My managers, my kids that's not here. Really everybody that got something to do with this situation, I want to say sorry for just having so much time investing into this, and I am a smart guy. I am a good guy, and I really got a good heart, I find myself in a lot of stuff because I was just nice or cool, and I understand that you can't be that way when you reach a certain height because it could end bad.
As Young Thug would even continue further on this speech, making everybody cry inside of the room, as he definitely hit a nerve with a lot of the jury and judge members that were in that courtroom.
I hope that you allow me to go home today and just trust in me to just do the right thing and never see you again unless it's at a bar in the future or something. Just out of this type of situation, I promise you I won't ever be in this type of situation again. I'm going away. I've learned from my mistakes. I come from nothing and I've made something and I didn't take full advantage of it. I'm sorry. Through these last 2.5 years of my life, you are really, truly, honestly, the best thing that has happened to me because you made everything fair for me and everybody involved on both sides, I'm sorry to the sheriff, everybody for just having to put extra time in. I know y'all got paid more money, but I'm sorry for y'all having to put this extra time in to be away from y'all family, and I just hope that.
As Young Thug would then end his speech off by just allowing the judge to understand everything that he has done great for his community. And if Young Thug were to be released today, he can go back to helping out those in need in communities that desperately need funding.
You find it in your heart to allow me to go home and be with my family and just do better as a person. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I am. I know the heights I've reached. I know the impact I got on people, period, in the community, all people. I learned that late, these past 2 or 3 years of my life, I kind of learned that late. And maybe it was because I was, probably on or anything, I don't know. But
right, Squall.
I have came to my senses and I understand what I mean to this world, but I am a good guy, I don't mind doing stuff like free shows, and I always did that, I did free shows and gave it to single parents, millions of dollars. You know, I made $1.8 million on a free show, and I gave it all to single parent charity, and I did.
But to understand Young Thug and everyone's reaction to him being released, you need to see the moments when Young Thug would walk up to the stand to accept the plea deal.
Mr. Steele, Mr. Adams, Mr. Williams, where are we? Ready to go forward? All right. Y'all coming up here to the podium.
Rise bar.
All right, Sergeant, can you swear in Mr. Williams?
Raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony you give the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. That's your name, first and last. You might just tell first and last. Jeffrey Williams,
Jeffrey Williams, JEFFERY WILLIAMS.
As it would be that moment when Young Thug was accepting his fate and he was allowing to have a plea deal determine his future, as it would be announced, the state is recommending Young Thug is sentenced to 45 years with 25 years to serve. However, Thug's lawyer Brian Steele was definitely not going to accept that offer at all. So they would do a special type of plea deal called a NULU, where basically the judge determines Young Thug's sentence.
And Mr. Williams, were you aware of the state's previous offer that was turned down prior to your making this non-negotiated plea?
Yes.
All right. And Your Honor, at this time, the state is making a recommendation of 45 years with 25 to serve in custody, followed by 20 on probation, subject to the special requirements of 1615 the statute.
Right before the judge would accept the terms of the NULU agreement, the state would then offer one more deal. As it would be announced, he could have come home today if he accepted the previous offer, but he did not agree to the special conditions, as the state wanted Young Thug to turn on YSL members, announcing that YSL is a gang, and he would also have to give information up on 8 members that are still currently going on with charges.
Would have been released today for 15 years on probation. If he successfully completes that probation, then he would not have to go to custody. If he did not, he'd face probation revocation as well as 23 years, as the court said, backloaded in the Georgia prison system. But we could not come to terms on all the conditions that the district attorney was insisting on.
Okay.
But once again, there is no way Thug was accepting that. He was not going to fall back on his guys at YSL, and he definitely was not going to ruin his reputation. This is where Young Thug's lawyer did something so unthinkable. He rolled the dice on Young Thug's entire future by not accepting the initial plea deal that was offered, as we then saw Brian Steele announce to the courtroom what Young Thug is willing to accept, and it's reported Young Thug pleads no contest to the RICO count in the gang leader count. The rest, he pleads guilty.
One, which is the racketeering conspiracy count. Mr. Williams is tendering a plea under nolo contendere. As to count 56, which is participation in a criminal street gang activity as being a leader or a supervisor or organizer, Mr. Williams is also tendering a plea to this honorable court as under nolo contendere. The balance of the counts, so he is tendering a guilty plea.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
would the court like to hear from the state or not?
About the NOLO issues?
Yes.
Sure.
Your Honor, the state asked that the court not accept a NOLO plea and require either a guilty plea or a not guilty plea as to these charges.
All right. I'm going to permit a NOLO plea as to counts 1 and 56.
All right.
As Young Thug would even announce himself that he needs to take a plea deal today. The trial was not even supposed to end for another 3 months, but sadly, Thug wanted it over. He would be announced. Young Thug's lawyer said Thug insisted on this because he could not handle 3 more months of his kids crying. If there was a chance that he could come home today, his lawyer told him they were winning the trial, but he was okay with either decision.
For almost 2 years since we did our jury selection initiation on January 4th, 2023, Mr. Williams has been sitting in a jail since May 9th, 2022. This is 2.5 years waiting for the conclusion of the state's case and a verdict from the jury, and that's why he is tendering this plea. I'm telling the court this, and the court knows when you came out the first time, it's very hard for Mr. Williams. I am not supportive of what we're doing right now. I'm not against it. But I told Mr. Williams, you okay with me saying, Jess? I told Mr. Williams that I think we're winning the trial and we should go to verdict. But he told me I can't wait another 3 months if there is any possibility I could go home because I have children.
Homeowners love these new whole home water treatment systems. Starting